The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.
Welcome to How to Money with Cole and Cole.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Cole.
We coach people every day on their money and how to plan for the future.
As financial advisors, we're here to have an honest conversation on investing, retirement, and everything in between.
At Full Swing Financial Planning, we're here to empower you to take control of your plan, your way, for your financial future.
So let's talk money.
And sports.
Welcome back to How to Money with Cole. I only got one Cole and Cole, but I'm here with Cole Peterson.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. And we have special guests. I think these are our first guests that are married business owners on the couch, correct?
Correct, yes, definitely.
Yes. Denny and Emily Stucky, the owners of the Community Orchard. How are you guys?
Very good.
Good.
Glad to be here this morning.
How do you guys feel about being the first married business owners on the podcast? We've had a lot of business owners, but not a married couple.
Well, I'll just hold my breath.
If they start arguing on the podcast, maybe we can just cut that out. But
No,
I don't
that's
think that's
good.
going to
That's
happen.
good. No, I don't
We've
think so.
spent a little time with them here before the podcast, and I think they get along okay. So
Yeah.
I think we'll be all right.
All right. Well, we're excited to have you guys. Let's just dive right into it. Let's not do sports. I just want to hear about you guys today. You guys are way more important than the sports going on.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome. The Vikings lost. So we're just going to go on with the day.
No, the Packers lost because Denny's a Packers.
Oh, yeah. The
Oh.
Packers.
We didn't have to get into that one.
Yeah. See, we'll skip. You're wearing green too. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So why don't you guys tell the listeners, for someone who does not know, what is the Community Orchard? Like, what does it entail? Where it's located? All the stuff.
The Community Orchard is on the very north side of Fort Dodge, just right out by the airport. It is just short of 100 acres altogether, which I think a lot of people are surprised about that, the size of the actual orchard. In that 98 acres, about 45 of it is apple trees, and there's about 6,000 apple trees on site. There has been many more in the years prior. I mean, the amount of trees in that acreage has shrunk considerably over the years, but just kind of the business has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the old ladies who bake and, people
Back in the day.
yeah, people our age don't do as much of that, so the need isn't there as much. But yeah, and then we also have probably about 6 or 8 acres that we plant the pumpkins and gourds, that people with their families come out and pick pumpkins and take them home.
Been there, done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been out there with your kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the pumpkin patch kind of right as you come
Right
in,
on
right
down.
as you come into the orchard. It's
Beautiful.
My kids are always running out there trying to find the perfect one.
It's the experience, and what people don't realize is just what it takes to grow those pumpkins.
Oh my gosh, we've tried to do it in our garden at our house. It is like impossible to grow pumpkin. You
Is
have to
it?
pay attention to these pumpkins.
Yeah, I can't keep
Oh man, you got
flowers
to turn
alive.
them. You got to. Oh,
So they're worth every penny, is what you're
Yes.
telling me.
Yes, well,
think so.
that stems from just a little conversation with a buddy of mine the other day. That was, I don't know if he was complaining or what he was saying, but
He just wanted you to know.
he wanted me to know that he was out there and got 3 overpriced pumpkins.
Well, the first time we went, Luke did just go grab the biggest ones ever. And I was like, okay, we get up there, we weigh him. I was like, babe, like, whoa, what are you doing? You don't have to grab all the biggest ones. Like, let's.
Hey, it did change. We don't do it by weight anymore.
Oh, did it?
So,
See,
yes.
tells you.
okay.
So they're all the
right.
same price now.
Yeah.
So grab that
Oh,
big
then
one.
we are gonna.
Every pumpkin is the same price.
Yes.
Yeah.
we do.
That is a good tip for our listeners because I did not know
I
that.
didn't either.
Well, for us, it just took a step out
Less
of
time.
Oh, like check out.
Of course.
Yeah, and to not, we're trying to figure out what works best as far as getting people moved quickly through all the different areas, and that way they can just pay
Get through.
pay all at one spot, and we don't have to have cash and all the things out at the patch. So it was just something we tried to kind of speed that up or make it a little
Streamline.
more efficient. And maybe it's a bad thing for us financially, but I think it's better
find
for
out.
I think it's better for the customers. So
Well, for our listeners that don't know, you guys just took over the community orchard in 2022, correct?
Yeah.
May of 2022. And,
Correct.
And it offers a lot. My family goes out there. There's the back 40. You can go ahead and tell them that. But there's events. There's the orchard. There's the pumpkin patch. There's a lot to do out there. There's a restaurant. You guys can go into it more. But it's a beautiful place. Like, it's so family oriented. It's so good for our community.
Yes, and there are things that we've been pushing the last couple years, and one of them for us is the corn maze. And the previous owners, they had always had a corn maze, but Greg would take a lawnmower out when the corn would get about knee high and just start. He had graph paper, and I still have probably 30 different themes that he would take on his kitchen table and map these out. And the first year I was there, he told me about it, and he said, go home and see what you come up with. So I had drawn this barn and silo and pumpkin. It was going to be sweet. And we made about 3 turns. We're measuring with a tape measure and a
not as easy
measuring
as it
wheel.
looks.
For one, the corn had gotten too tall, so we couldn't see each other. But we made about 3 or 4 turns in it, and our measurement, we were already done. So we just started kind of cruising, just made it go in one and out the other. And so I was disappointed with that. Not as skilled as Greg was at the corn maze. So we actually now hire a company that's out of Pennsylvania that
Oh, wow.
we meet with them, and we're starting the process now in January, designing the maze for next year. And it's all done through GPS. And so once we pick our theme and our design, they'll come in, we plant the corn, and they'll come in about mid-July or early August, and they, like I said, it's all GPS, but they'll come in, it takes them about 5 or 6 hours, and they cut the maze, and we get a program, whatever the theme might be for the year. It comes with all the game sheets, the signage, and it's really been neat.
There's a company that specializes in corn mazes.
I was thinking that the
Yes.
whole
I was like,
time.
wow,
what a business.
I'm sure that. So obviously, you're not the only orchard in. I mean, I don't even know how many
ton
are in
in
Iowa, but I mean, this is something that
In the United
this
States.
company does. There's a lot of orchards, obviously, all over the country. So, like, what do you guys do that maybe is a little bit different than other orchards, or the same that you guys think is special or something that you guys can kind of point to?
Well, I think we're fortunate with the setting that we have for our maze, the actual field that it sits in and the layout. A lot of them are just kind of out in the middle of, a cornfield that's just flat and boring. But our maze is, 100 yards from the Des Moines River, and it's tall oak tree. It's just a beautiful setting. And so with that, I mean, we started it last year, but we were going to try to run more events utilizing the corn maze. So the one that we have started, which was a lot of fun. I mean, the people who came out for it just had a blast, and really an experience like they hadn't had, but we called it the Wine Your Way Out. And so,
Wait, did you have to drink wine while you were in there? Because that might be a little tough.
This is where
Yeah.
it gets interesting.
Wine while you're in maze?
yes, sir.
At each little
I
stop.
would definitely get lost.
my
Tested
gosh.
the wine.
Yeah, so there's like
Oh,
5.
that's cute.
There's 5 game stations for the children, in the normal maze, and so at each one of those, we just had tables and coolers
Samples.
with beer and wine. But it was really, it's just a different thing than you would have around here. I mean, so to spice that up too, I mean, we give hay rides down to this event, and then we had picnic tables and campfires going, and I had live music down there. We grilled, had food available, and then alcohol for purchase,
Be a good
afterwards.
date night.
But it was surprising to me. We do have a fairly good following on Facebook, and a lot of the people that were there for the event were couples from like Lakota. I mean, 60, 90 miles away that
Oh,
were,
wow.
that had just
From out of
seen
town.
follow us on Facebook and had come to do it. A lot of people from Humboldt, this the surrounding areas, but that's an event that I want to key on.
A little
this
easier
year.
to get the word out now with social media. Obviously,
Yeah.
you guys have always had so the orchard. Let's go back. You guys, May of 2022, Bailey said that you guys purchased the orchard and started as the owners. Sue and Greg Bedke, is that right? That owned it
Bev.
before you.
Bev.
Bev and Greg. Yep.
I don't know why I said Sue.
There
Maybe
is
that's
a
Bev.
Sue Bedke.
There is a Sue.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
Bev and Greg Bedke owned that before you guys, and it was something. How much did you pay? No, I'm just joking.
What inspired you guys?
Yeah,
To take
what?
over?
Tell me a little bit about the process of how you started talking to them about owning the orchard, or maybe they started talking to you, and how that all evolved and how long. I bet it's not something that you make a decision like that in a month. You probably took years, I would think.
No,
No,
actually,
it
that's
was
exactly how it went.
Oh, really?
It was really fast.
Cole's wrong.
So,
Holy cow!
I'll take this one, and and there's a lead up to it, and none of this happened the way I would have ever, thought that maybe something like this would
Wait,
go.
our life doesn't go the way we envision it. Just
Right.
keep
Yeah,
going. Yeah.
we find that out every,
Yeah.
all the time. But for me, I had grown up and I pretty much, I worked for my father for about 16 years full time and traveled building propane and anhydrous ammonia facilities and loved every second of it. I have to admit, I thought I was good at it.
Yeah.
Again, working for my father, but he got sick and passed away of COVID, and well, that would have been 21, and so, I continued working, and it just was different for me, I guess. He was gone, and I don't know, the things that he would call every, night or in the morning, it was just different, and I don't know, but I still never thought that I would be looking for an apple orchard to purchase. I mean,
Right.
I'll correct that. I didn't even eat apples before this.
Oh, you didn't?
Never.
I will eat apple dumplings,
Or
but
Gotcha.
apple pie.
I'm not a connoisseur of apples. I hadn't been.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
So,
Never-
so
never
things
was,
changed a
yeah.
little bit, obviously, in 2021
Yep,
when your
and-
dad passed away and he owned Dale's Petroleum, for people
Correct.
in Fort Dodge know that. And you were working at Avela Bank,
I was, yes.
and Emily was there. So the process of the conversation with the Bedkeys that started in 2022.
2021.
yeah,
22.
well, it was right after
Beginning
January.
because
So we were on a family trip with my family, and we were just sitting at dinner, and one of my sisters just said to my mother, she said, "Mom, you ought to think about buying the orchard, and we'll just work for you, and we'll just do that." And my mom was, I'm 70 years old almost, and I got one business now that I don't know what in the world would I do that for? And that was the end of the conversation. But I sat there on the
sparked
beach.
another conversation.
I
One
sat
little
there on the beach
conversation.
and thought about it for a week or so, and then we went on a trip with Emily's parents, and we started kind of talking about it a little more, me and Emily, and I don't know, we got home and
So that was January of 2022, and we bought it in May of 2022.
Oh, wow.
So that's how
closed.
fast it happened.
and
I mean, I know the Bedkeys were ready to be kind of done, and I know they stayed on for a little while and helped you guys out with the transition, because it is a big project out there. I mean, it's not a project; it's just a big business, and there's a lot of different
lot of land,
a lot of different moving places,
Yes.
and revenues coming in from different sources and expenses. I'm sure you guys, your book's got to be a nightmare to try to keep track of all of that. But
But it sounds like you took a moment that was really impactful of your life and said, life's too short. Like, I'm not enjoying working here anymore now that my dad's passed away. Let's go do the orchard. Let's try something else. Was there ever like a time where you're like, oh my gosh, like what did we get ourselves into? Or have you had like a moment?
Had that about 20 times.
Have you had a moment that's
No, I'm
maybe
just kidding.
affirmed that you like, you're excited about it? Because it is such a great place. I'm sure you sound very passionate about it already, and you've been there in such a short time.
He's like thriving.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's just, it's kind of hard to explain until you're in that role. But so I work with my hands, my whole life, basically, laborer. And some days we'd be in the middle of Missouri with not even a gas station for 20 miles, or sleeping in a nasty hotel. And that's what I did for 16 or 18 years. And then, I mean, it was hard work. It was hot. It was cold. It was, places you didn't want to be. And this, honestly, to me, I mean, and there were a lot of different personalities that you would run into in that line of work. And for me, it is a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, but it's not what I know of as work. Like it's just
it.
time,
Yeah.
know.
Well, and you're in Fort Dodge. You're. I know you have to travel a little bit to go to different conferences and things like that. But most of your work is done in Fort Dodge now. And Emily, you grew up with your dad owning Pingle Tire here in Fort Dodge.
Yep.
So you also grew up in a family business.
Yep.
Denny grew up in a family business. So obviously natural that you guys would want to own a family business, which sounds like your kids have kind of grown to love it too.
yes. Yep. They have. All three of them have really grown to like to work at the orchard. Our youngest, actually, if you would see her running the register a lot
my
at
gosh.
the orchard, a lot of people get a kick out of her out there too.
Yeah, so you have Aaron, who's 9,
Yep.
and you have Jack, that's 13, and then you have Charlie, who's 15. I heard Charlie takes over in the kitchen and kicks Denny out sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does, and you just kind of gotta walk away, and you kind of don't know if you should
Let
just
her do her
laugh and
thing.
or just see what happens. But no, it's been good for our children to.
Well, they're watching
see
you
it.
guys work,
Yep.
enjoy your work, and now they're like, oh, this is what work's like. Now I can like kind of put myself out there and do what my dad and mom did.
Yep.
But I am curious because you guys do, I mean, live music, weddings, camps. There's so much going out there. What like traditions are you trying to keep out there? But also, I know like you've already put it in a slide, right? Correct, and other
Yes.
stuff. What other new stuff do you guys feel like is coming down the pipeline, or can you share, or how are you balancing that?
Sure. I mean, a lot of the stuff we've been doing, trying to partner with other businesses in Fort Dodge, and working together with things that work out. And so, one thing that we're excited about is our hard cider business. And it's something that, a lot of people around the area probably don't realize yet, but we make apple cider at the orchard, right? I mean, about 10,000 gallons of apple cider a year. And we had a lot of people ask us, when we bought the place, when are you guys going to start making a hard cider? Well, we could keep our head above water,
You're still getting used to everything you were
A
doing.
hard cider is an alcoholic drink, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was on and those 9,000 to 10,000 gallons of cider, we usually consume about 1,000 at my house, so that only leaves about 8,000 for everybody else.
Yes.
But
Thank you, Cole.
yeah.
It is appreciated.
Supply and demand.
Yes.
My dad used to always tell us this when we were kids, and I would be watching him deal with some of his customers, and every time he got done with a job and, you're saying your goodbyes, thank you, and all this, and my dad would always say, we very much appreciate your business. He said, kids need shoes, I got to keep it.
Got to turn.
So that's all in the back of my mind. It's always kids need shoes, So we appreciate it,
Cute.
Cole. It's they need them.
You bet.
All the sports
Yeah,
and
well,
all the
Charlie, Jack, and Aaron got to run those, track events. So.
Yeah.
yeah. So we obviously had no business even entertaining the thoughts of trying to produce a hard cider ourselves. So we have some Soldier Creek product that we sell in the orchard, and we just started talking to them, and they came up with the name. I mean, we worked together, and it's called Doc Otto's Hard Cider. And for those that don't know, Doc Otto was
The
guy
original.
who founded the orchard. Or
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
began the orchard. Yep. And
Oh, cool.
And this goes back to the 1940s. He was a doctor in Fort Dodge that delivered a lot of babies and just, was a well-known doctor. But the story that was told is that he had studied with a guy up in Minnesota, and Minnesota's a large apple producing state. And so he wanted to see what would grow down in our zone, which we're in a different zone for growing. And so they started planting some trees, and as they started producing, he would give them away to patients or, but as the years went, they kept planting and there was more and more apples. And so he had to figure out a way to get rid of them, or start selling them. So they would sell them on a roadside little stand for a while. And then in 1952 is when he purchased the orchard and began, the whole, what it is that we know of now. It was an old dairy barn. And so they got rid of all the cattle and started using the coolers for apples. But so that is the name of our hard cider. And right now we have 2 flavors. But
I would assume one of those is
probably-
apple.
Yes.
yep, one
You're
of them is
correct.
apple.
One of them's apple.
And
One is-
that's the base. And then
One of them's sour apple. No, I'm just joking.
Stop it.
blueberry.
Blueberry.
is
Okay.
And
the
it's
second
good.
one.
All right.
So
So go out and get your hard cider. Is it only available at Soldier Creek?
That's what I was just
no, well, we
sell
sell
it
it.
at Apple.
Well,
at
of
the
course.
orchard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
And then they
this is
actually,
new.
we're gonna put it on tap now. At a couple of restaurants in
Oh, good for
in
you.
Yeah.
bars
Locally?
in Fort Dodge.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes,
And
this is
so-
we're very excited about.
Yeah, you
Yep.
guys are venturing out. Who would have known in 2022 you went from going to own the orchard, doing mazes, doing pumpkin patches. Now you got a cider. I mean, and this is like an evolution of being a business owner.
Yes.
But for us, the partnership is so cool and fun to do because we can offer a product that we kind of feel like is ours because we have a part in the cider, and it's good for Soldier Creek. I mean, it's another, avenue for them to go down when the cider is a big deal right now. People enjoy ciders.
And then where is it at?
Well,
Or can we say that yet?
Yeah, maybe I'm not comfortable with that
okay.
just quite yet. But
Okay.
to come.
in,
Okay.
Yeah.
in the
Dot,
next
dot, dot.
in the next month or two,
Follow them on Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
sure it'll be
post it.
announced there.
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you have and it's the Community Orchard in Fort Dodge? Is that how you follow them on Facebook?
Yep.
Are you guys going to package and put it in like Hy-Vee? Is the end goal to like go bigger with that, or is that you kind of just want to keep it small?
Well, for our side of the things with the laws and licensing, to wholesale an alcohol, a hard cider or a wine like that, you have to be the manufacturer. So we're technically not the manufacturer. So that's where, we're just kind of working together, with the winery and just kind of walk before we run things.
Some
But
baby steps.
Yep.
I had an abundance of apples left over this year. So
And we know you love apples.
yeah,
He does now.
I do now.
He does now.
You have grown to like apples?
do,
Oh,
yes.
nice.
They're so good.
That's good.
Yeah, so rather than just disposing of these apples, last week we pressed almost 3,000 gallons of cider, and it all went straight to Soldier Creek, and they started the fermenting process, and they'll do it all and just keg it, and it's really unique. I mean, for us to have the ability and to have a partner like that that's willing and able, and then we also have another product. I don't want to leave anybody out here, but we had started working with Ron Grebner down at River Hops before he had sold to Greg down there, and so we also have a beer
Okay.
with our cider. So we have 2 flavors of that too. So down at River Hops, that same thing. We press the cider and take it to him, and he is making an ale for us. And we have an apple, just a straight apple ale, and then a maple apple ale, and that one's been really popular. So at this point, we're a little farther along with Soldier Creek, but we're at
Sounds
some
like you guys
point-
have a lot going on.
At some point, Greg is hungry, like we, and looking to expand his business. And so he is, when we've talked about kegging that, and having that product available on tap too. And so partnerships, I guess, has been a really
huge part of it.
a fun thing for us because it's good for everyone.
So that's only available at River Hops Brewery right now?
No, it's
We
only
have it
available
canned.
at the orchard.
Oh, it's canned.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's only available at the
It's
orchard.
in the process with that. But I see how this full circled here. You're sitting on the beach with a beer in hand. I'm assuming pondering becoming your own business owner. And you said, Emily, we should just own the orchard, right? But you knew the ciders and beer were coming in the long run.
Because I came to my wife one time and said, hey, let's move to Fort Dodge. I want to open my own business. And there was a little bit of a conversation there.
A little tension.
What was the conversation like? Oh yeah, let's go. I'm all in.
I was shocked.
Or was it?
Well, yeah, because he's been doing what he's doing forever.
Yeah, tell me what your reaction was.
I think my jaw like dropped to the ground because I thought he'd never leave Dale's Petroleum.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was his family business. He's worked there for, like you said, 16, 18 years. I don't know. I was all for it. I mean, I was like, okay, let's go. I've loved the orchard since I was a kid. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think him and I both had gone there since we were kids. It's like
It's a magical place.
It is. It's a staple in the community. So I was like, sure. I
Yeah.
mean,
no hesitation.
no, I mean, go from a desk job to owning your own business is a lot of people's dream, probably.
Yeah.
So
I would be lying if I didn't say, like, when we were moving back to Fort Dodge, and maybe you thought about this too, Bailey, when you moved back to Fort Dodge, is like the orchard was one of those things that me and Molly talked about. Like, well, there's an orchard, there's an orchard there. You can take your kids, because when you're in Des Moines, it's not like that. It's all it's a city basically, and you got to go out of town an hour to get to the nearest place. So I think it's a great asset for Fort Dodge, as you guys know, obviously, and it's something that can sell people to move them back to Fort Dodge, hopefully, and give them another place to take their children or make some memories.
yeah, I've heard that actually a lot, that for some people moving from bigger cities to Fort Dodge, that they bring them like
To the orchard.
like HR companies trying to bring doctors, or especially bringing their wives to the orchard, like bringing
what
them
you
there
can
for
do
like
with your
I've heard that a
family.
lot. Like
Yeah.
it's a plus for them, for their families. So it's heartwarming for us to hear that. I mean, that it's a plus for them to move to Fort Dodge, that they bring them to the orchard.
I just moved back because I want to hang out with Denny.
Yeah.
Golf.
I don't have a whole lot of time to practice that, that activity.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.
Let's do a little dollars and cents.
Dollar bills, y'all.
I was waiting for the beat. You were going to do a beat during that, weren't you?
Denny thinks he can
Crossed
rap.
my mind. Yeah.
All right. Since Cole J's gone, he's usually a little stat nerd. We got Cole P. What do you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to nerd out a little bit since our usual nerd is gone. But a lot of people are talking about the market, the stock market, and we had 2 positive years in a row, over 20%. It is the ninth time that has happened.
Or it's been
Since
back to back.
1950. Yep. So 2023 was plus 20%. 2024 was plus 20%.
Makes our job easy.
Yeah, it does. More people are apt to invest. More people are, people are happy
Calm.
when they see their statements. They're calm. It does help out with our job, definitely. Plus, we're awesome at it. So anyway, but the previous 8 times this has happened, the next year, the average gain is 12.3%. So this is a good testament. So a lot of people say, "Oh, the market's so high, I should sell everything," or something's going to
good to be true. It's time to crash.
It's going to come crashing down. Well, that's not necessarily always true, because historically, the next year you have these things called bull runs where the market runs up for a long time. And I'm not saying it's going to be 12.3% next year or this year or whatever you want to call it, but it usually is positive. Then it's been positive 6 out of 8 years. If you go 20% plus, 20% plus, the next year, 6 out of the next 8 years, or 6 out of the 8 times that has happened, it's been positive. So no one knows what's going to happen in 2025. Of course, we don't try to predict the market, but at the same time, if your investments are supposed to be in the market, so Denny and Emily are young business owners. If they have investments in the stock market, there's no reason to pull them out just because the market is positive 2 years in a row. Right. You kind of just got to go with it, and who knows? It could be positive another 5 years in a row. We don't know.
Could be up and down, but the point is stay in.
Stay in the market if you should be. Not a bad time to get some out if you are getting closer to retirement, closer to using that money, but you don't want to. It's not an all or nothing type of deal.
Just work with a great advisor and they'll guide you through.
Yeah.
Right.
Like name Bailey Ashbrook.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But it's good to know 20 plus 20. That's pretty good return for those people who were in the market.
I think that's 40, right? 20 plus 20.
I don't know. Let me check. Okay, let's get back to it. Thanks, Cole, for doing that.
Way less interesting than the community orchard, I can tell you that.
Okay, let's get back to it. So my question is, what advice would you give someone looking to take over a business, especially one that's part of the community like this? Like it's a big part of Fort Dodge or any business. What advice would you give a first-time business owner?
Well, my advice would be that you have to know what you're getting into, and you have to be very much invested in, what you're...
It's a baby.
Yes, and investing in not only your money, but your time and it's really a lifestyle, a lot of businesses are like that. You just have to be prepared to do more than you maybe want to at times, and have the ability to miss some things that you might not want to miss. But, the end goal is that you're working towards something, you're doing this for a reason, but you have to be invested with your time, not only, your money and your energy. Sometimes you don't have any.
You got to make it work.
You just have to, we always say out there, you just have to keep digging.
Yeah. Keep pushing through.
If you quit digging, you get buried. That's what
it's a good one.
What we say, but it's true. And so that would be my advice.
Well, I think everyone's like, "Ooh, business owner. Like I want to do that," which like we said, like from going to a bank to a business owner, that's great. But there's also a commitment level that you have to be willing and understanding to take on. It's not as beautiful as it looks. Like you can't just buy the business and hope it runs. Like there's a lot to do it to make it run and make it profitable and make it successful. And like you said, you guys have kids. There's probably times that come up that you don't want to go back out there and fix a problem or deal with something or learn something new, but it's your baby. You got to do it all the time.
What was it like when you told your kids? Because they're probably at a good age. They probably were like really excited. I would assume they were excited, probably not knowing what they were getting themselves. You guys knew what you're getting yourself into, but maybe they didn't know what they're getting themselves into. Emily?
Yeah, they were excited. They're very excited. Our oldest, Charlie, was not thrilled to be moving out there because we moved out there. Oh,
that's right.
So that was hard for her because we lived in a neighborhood where all her friends were and stuff. But other than that, they were thrilled. Who doesn't want to live?
Yeah, they're gonna run out on the back 40 and go play.
Who doesn't want to live and own the orchard? I think it was overwhelming for them, but other than that, they were very excited.
Because there's a lot of toys that come with the
Oh, yeah.
orchard too. I mean, you
Yes.
guys got, I'm assuming you got 4-wheelers and you got trucks and you got truck beds and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So
They got a giant trampoline. In
Yes,
the full
That's
back
true.
seat.
probably the
And then
number one
everyone-
thing.
I'd be like, yeah, go jump, guys.
what do they have to pay to go to the back 40?
Yeah,
There's an old
they
golf
have to
cart.
work.
And those kids, I mean, that golf cart's probably gotten
Been through the ringer.
40,000 miles on it in 2 years. I mean, they
It
they
did get
forget how to
crashed.
walk. Yeah, I mean, they've drove that thing all over the place, and it's been wrecked and fixed and wrecked and run
Sounds
out
like
of
a
gas.
childhood
And
dream.
Yeah,
you get a phone call, they're down at the bottom of the orchard, and
Ran
this
out of
thing
gas.
isn't. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. What's the? You
forget.
checked the gas lately? Huh?
Huh? It runs off of gas?
But yeah, no, it's. I think
What's been the biggest challenge in owning a business is a challenge just in itself, but I'm assuming there was also a learning curve because neither of you worked in the orchard business,
And it happened fast.
and it happened kind of fast. So
I'd say there's a couple.
Okay.
I mean, the learning curve for sure. I mean, neither one of us worked in agriculture at all. I mean,
Okay.
we had no I mean,
we have fake ferns at our house because we
That
couldn't
sounds like
keep
my
ferns
house.
growing.
we still have fake ferns.
Yeah, they're green right
Out
now.
at
It's
the
beautiful.
apple.
I wasn't going to admit that.
So did you go to like an agriculture kind of like schooling, or did you go to conference or
Yeah, some
conventions?
conferences
Okay.
and stuff.
We have most of it was
Becky
Greg
stayed on
Okay.
for a year with us.
Okay, so a whole year.
That helped
Yeah.
a lot.
Bedke.
that was probably
University.
part of the deal.
Yes.
Like we'll buy it, but
Yeah.
But we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, and they offered. I mean, they offered to stay. That was
Well, they want to thrive. 'Cause
They did. They wanted to
historically,
go.
yeah.
they had owned it since the 80s, 90s.
Even earlier than that. I mean, Greg and Bev did themselves, but before that, Greg's father,
That's right.
Don, had been out there. So Greg
there's only
literally was
been-
out there.
So yeah, it
3
was.
owners?
Yeah. Yep.
The doctor, the bed keys, and now
And
you
then-
guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Stuckies for a
Yep.
long time, right?
Yes.
Committed.
Yeah. Forever.
Yeah, our feet are duct taped to the bike pedals on this thing.
Is there any other things you're kind of like challenges or obstacles you're overcoming still, like getting, you know what I mean? You got a lot going on out there.
Well, I would say, kind of like how we said the time commitment. I mean, it's missing kids stuff. Like we're still getting used to that. It's kind of, I've kind of like, we've gotten used to it. He's kind of the one committed to the business and I'm committed to the kids right now. So, if there's kids events and stuff, I'm going to that. That's it's
You're feeling stretched with time.
yeah. Yep. And just getting to, I don't know,
Be there and
be a mom and a business owner at the same time is kind of hard.
no such thing as balance.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's any
Yes.
job.
I
It
would
doesn't
agree.
matter if you're a business owner or not. It's just hard to do that.
Yeah.
So
There's financial struggles, and this, I don't want to get misconstrued because I feel like we have a wonderful business and people support it great, but there are things that people don't understand. When we purchased the orchard in 2022 and we were able to come up with basically bare minimum down payment, that we possibly could. And at that time, and we operate, since we're seasonal, we operate off of a line of credit, for half of the year. And when we purchased the orchard, and it's a fair amount of money. I mean, a lot of inventory is bought prior to the season and, payroll so a lot of cash is used throughout the season that when we're not making any. So the interest rates in 2022 on like a line of credit at the bank are that I believe it was 3.25%.
yeah,
And
Now.
it's tripled.
it
Yeah,
tick-
now
it
it's not
tickled
as pretty.
10.
Yeah.
And for us, that was, that was a learning experience because if you have a fair amount of money, I mean, that's a lot of interest. And to make that up, it's a lot of apple pies.
It's a lot of apple
I mean,
cider.
it's,
yeah,
Cole's got to send Molly out to buy more cider. here.
yeah.
but I
but
also,
it really
understand.
is. So
Yeah.
like the last 2 years, we've increased our sales, maybe not as much as we dream of, but they have increased slightly every year, but we're at the end, there's not as much
because you're paying more interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
so
so
some of
seasonal
those,
being hard.
Yes. Yep.
Like cash flowing seasonally.
yes, cash flow is a challenge, but that, again, it's not unique to the community orchard. I mean, a lot of businesses are that way.
Yes.
But that's been
so you guys are learning like when your peak seasons are, when
Yes.
maybe you can't spend time like in the summer doing stuff, and then making that cash flow, and it makes a difference. And I think, again, being not everyone, but the misconception, I'm just gonna be a business owner, it's gonna run smoothly, nothing's gonna go. You gotta look at the financials, you got to make sure everything's running properly, we got to cash flow, we got to pay people. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just buying it and hoping it's successful. But again, it sounds like you guys are very passionate, very into it. Like, you can tell you guys you're in it for lifers. What is your, what's one thing people don't know about the orchard, or like your guys' favorite thing about the orchard?
I mean, I think the lunch crowd is one thing that a lot of people don't know or don't realize.
That it's a restaurant.
I've had a lot of my uncles or guys I know from, construction type jobs or the blue collar type jobs, that when they think of the orchard, like,
It's like
ladies.
ladies.
ladies,
Yes,
ladies
like a
lunch.
ladies' lunch.
Which
dude,
Molly
we can't
does.
go to eat there.
Yeah.
We can't walk in there with our dirty boots, and but that is a misconception. I mean, and we do serve. I mean,
It's a
we serve
hidden
lunch.
gem, I
Yeah, I agree.
For
Like,
lunch.
I think of people and we forget about it too, but the food is so good. And then going out there, the atmosphere, and you guys do ice cream now. I mean, you guys have a lot going on.
So the orchard is pretty much open from August 1st till after Christmas, correct? I mean, right now,
Till right
till
before
Christmas.
Christmas.
right before Christmas.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
excuse me. And obviously most of your business is done in the fall during when apples are ready to
Apples
go,
and
and pumpkins and so tell the listeners a little bit from December 25th until August 1st. Obviously, you guys just don't go sit on the beach. You
Ponder
also
their next business.
you prep for the next season, and that's where you have to do other things to keep the orchard running smoothly. So tell us a little bit about what you guys do in the quote unquote off season, even though I know you work a lot during that time.
Well, like, for instance, next week I'm going to Markket to buy everything for the Apple Attic.
Okay.
So Apple Attic is, which we haven't even talked about, is upstairs of the orchard. It's little boutique clothing, gift shop,
Really cute stuff.
very cute stuff. Lots of home decor, clothing, gifts, baby stuff, kids' clothes, lots of fun stuff. So I get to go. That's next week. I get to go to Dallas and buy all that good
That
stuff.
sounds like a little fun.
It is fun. It's work, but
Sounds
it's
miserable
fun.
to me.
No, it's like
such
one
a
of my
love-
favorite things. And then we'll go to another convention. It's called NAFTMA, but it's a farmers convention. That's where we've learned a lot of agritourism is what it's called. It's,
Agritourism.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's kind of our business is agritourism. So that's where we bought the slide last year.
Oh, is
or
it?
2 years ago. 2
And
years
the
ago.
corn maze.
And the
And you
corn
really
maze.
just bought the slide because Denny wanted to go down the slide.
Honestly,
let's just all be.
I have a video of him testing it out.
I
so-
bet.
If you don't know, this is a giant slide
Yes.
that you go
Giant
down
a
into.
tube.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
So
if you're in Fort Dodge and you're looking for something to do, you have an hour in between basketball games or baseball games or whatever, and you're from out of town, definitely look at the orchard and go out there and just see what they all have to do. Now you got to go between August and December 25th, August 1st and December 25th. But it's just a great place. And I had asked earlier I'd asked if you had a story, because sometimes there's a funny story. Now maybe you guys came up with one. So did you come up with a story of when you took over the orchard, or give me a story with the
pruning
orchard?
or- I don't know.
It's just so this runs back to how it all kind of happened. So, and it's about a phone call. We had been on our vacation, and the thought of the orchard kind of was in our heads. So we came back, and I had my son at wrestling practice, and I had told Emily, I'm just gonna call Bev Bedke, and I'm just gonna call her and just see if it's true that they want to sell the place. I'm just gonna call. So
Just call.
Here we are. It's like, I don't know, 7:30 on a Wednesday night, 10 below zero. Sitting out in my truck. I give her a call. I said, she says, hello. I said, yeah, Bev, hey, this is Denny Stucky. I was just calling. I just wanted to run something past you, just see if you guys were really thinking of selling the orchard. And she goes, well, yes, and I said, well, me and Emily, would like to talk to you about that sometime. And she says, well, you can come over right now. And I said, well, Bev, we're at practice. By the time I get him home and showered and stuff, it'll be 9:30. And she goes, that's fine. She goes, well,
gosh.
Yeah, she said, we'll have the lights on and so tonight. And so I called Emily. I'm like,
And
she wants us to come over tonight. Like, she's eager. You know?
Wow.
And
So you
it's
did
so-
go out there that night?
We did.
Oh my gosh. That is nuts.
And
And it's so funny because that's how I am too. Like, if I want something done, I wanted it done yesterday. Like,
Yes.
so it worked out good because
And then after getting to
Stopped
know
you.
Bev, it all made sense too. I mean, she gets stuff done,
Yeah.
but
That's a business owner.
so we went
mentality.
over there and that's how this thing happened. Like, we went there
One phone call.
9:30 on a Wednesday night, freezing cold, and had, maybe a couple hour conversation, just not about money or anything, just what it
About the
looks like,
business, yeah.
what their day looks like, what their year looks like. And we did that, I think 3 times. And after the 3rd time, I mean, we had made up our mind and we went to the
Little
bank.
fate.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's not how I would have envisioned buying something like
That large.
this property and this business, which is really like 4 different types of businesses. I just didn't assume that's how it would go, but that's how it went. I literally called her and she was like, yeah, why don't you come over right now? And
But she probably knew you guys like a testimony as you as people
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
type of people they probably had envisioned to take over the business. But I will say this, like, what a testimony to you guys to take a leap of faith, like trust yourselves, because it would have been so easy to do what you had been doing for 16 years. But obviously that entrepreneurial spirit was kind of in you guys through your dad. So it's like taking that risk reward and like taking something beautiful and making your own. It's just inspiring.
Yeah, it is. It is. It just shows people, like, if you, and I think every business owner that ever started their own business has, like, I think this is going to work. I think it's going to work. Like, I run the numbers and it works, but you don't know. And you got to take that leap of faith, like Bailey said, and go. And, I'm sure there's some businesses that doesn't work, but obviously it's working out for you guys, and we're happy to have you.
yeah, well, thank you. It's been a ride, but
Just
it's
started,
fun one.
really.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. If we can, what do they always say? If you can make it past 5 years,
You got it.
you'll be doing well. So
And,
Yeah.
and listen, to our listeners, don't be worried about those pumpkin prices. You just get out there, you enjoy that sunrise, sunset, whatever you're doing, get the pumpkin and just the whole environment. You know, I'm all
It's
for
all
it.
about the experience.
Yes. But I mean, there, like you said, there's the store of decorations, there's the restaurant, and there's the beer, there's the ice cream, there's the events, there's weddings.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't just take over one business, you took over many.
We
You
always
can
say
get
it's
drunk
like at
and
least
carve
4.
pumpkins.
Yep.
Yeah,
Get lost in a
absolutely.
maze.
Absolutely. That's what we do.
Yep. Tell the listeners where they can find you, or we can link it. Facebook, website.
Yeah. Website. Our website is www.communityorchard.com. Facebook is The Community Orchard or The Apple Attic, either one.
Yeah.
Instagram and
Instagram,
TikTok.
TikTok, any of that.
All the sites. We'll link them.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much
appreciate
for
you
your
for having
time.
us.
Yeah, we know it's valuable, and everyone go get their favorite apple.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys being here, and
Thank you.
go visit. If you haven't been to the Community Orchard, go visit. If you're from Humboldt or surrounding company, or
If you're in Iowa.
or if you're in Iowa, it's worth it. It's just north of Fort Dodge. It's out by the airport. You can't miss the signage, and it's a great place. Fall there is just amazing. I mean, the different colors and the pumpkins and everything. It is quite the experience.
Yes, well, we'll make sure, we'll do our best to make sure that you guys have a great day when you come out and visit.
Yep.
That's our
goal.
That's what makes us unique too. I think we try to really almost overdo that, and make sure
special.
people are having fun. Yeah, so yeah, we'd be happy to see everyone come out there. So
Yep.
again, thank you guys for having us on.
Yes.
Thank you.
When you prove people wrong, it's one of the best feelings in the world. Aaron Jones.
Go Cubs.
You've been listening to How to Money with Cole and Cole, the podcast of Full Swing Financial Planning. To learn more, visit their website at www.fullswingfinancial.com and follow them on Facebook and LinkedIn.
For now, I'm Cole,
I'm Bailey.
And I'm Cole.
and we'll see you on the greens. 4.
Security and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.